preferably a chair. It's just good to have nearby. And then we're going to use some kind of ball. And if you don't have a ball, you could use your blanket or towel. All right, and I'll try to give you some different ideas. So any yoga tune-up balls like we've used in the past. I've got a Pilates squishy ball. I've also got another yoga tune-up Coregeous ball. Or you can use toys, dryer balls, anything like that. And let's start with that, okay? So we'll start with one that we're going to lie down. Actually, let's lie down without it first, okay? Because it might be intense. Instead, let's first lie down on a folded up blanket or rolled. It can be a towel too. And we're gonna place this on our soft belly, like where your belly button is on it. And if you come down on it and you feel like it's too intense, then you can make it smaller. Okay, less height. You'll see I just prop my head up. You might need to, if you've got tight ankles or feet, might need to put a blanket below your ankles or feet. Let's get these out of the way. And once you get settled there, just notice your breathing and notice if you can feel your breath against your blanket. Make sure your neck feels comfortable. So as you breathe in, perhaps you can feel your belly expand. Maybe you can feel your back expand. And then as you exhale, softening and letting go. So with the intention of finding some ease and a sense of fluidity to your breath. So it just comes in and it goes out. Good, and then you can bend your knees and windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Noticing how that feels. It might take a little bit deeper. Good, and now let's take away our blanket and lie back down. And just notice how it feels in your center area there around your abdominal area as you breathe. Following your breath in, really feeling, if you can, the expansiveness of your breath. A 360-degree breath, and then as you breathe out, you might sigh or just let go. Trying to find that sense of ease and fluidity. Okay, now we're going to take one of our balls here, and so you might have to play around with what kind of ball you have, and you might not have a lot of options. So another idea, if you don't have any ball, is to roll up a smaller towel. My blanket would be kind of too big because where I'm going to put it is I'm finding my hip bone here, and I'm going to go inside it like there. Okay, so see it's on one half, right, of my midline. and it's going on the side. Now, if I were to use my hard ball, I think I'd be okay because I don't mind a lot of pressure, but for some people it'd be really intense. Another thing is this soft, gorgeous ball. And I'll send you guys some links if you want to get these ever. Right, so this is a really soft ball. Obviously, it takes up a lot more space than this little guy, right? So you can play around. I'm going to use the little guy because I don't think a lot of you have that gorgeous ball. It's a great ball, though. And so I'm putting it over there where I pointed, right? And whew, I'm kind of tight in there. So you might have some abdominal tightness. Might take some getting used to. When you put in there, and all I'm doing is I'm kind of swaying my hips side to side. So I've got it right there, just on the inside there. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, which was just breathe in, feel the breath, expand toward the ball, if you can, and then exhale and soften. Another thing you can do, so you can do that for several breaths, and you can also bring that knee forward. So see, I just brought my knee forward like a frog pose, and I do the same thing, right? And I could do this with the big soft ball as well, and this feels great. I really like it with the big soft ball. It's very gentle, and you can kind of move around. Oh, that feels so good. This ball, if anybody is interested in getting these, I will send you the link, but it's called Gorgeous. There it is. So you're just breathing into this area to help release the front of the hips, but also the abdominal area, any tension you might have there. And we'll just do a couple more breaths in the interest of time. Okay? But you can always stay longer, especially if you're doing this as a recording. And then whenever you're ready to, you can take it away. And notice the two sides of the front of your hips, taking a breath in and a breath out. And then you can switch to the other side. Okay, so you take whatever ball you're using. I'm going to try the small ball first. Whew, this one's a little tighter for me. And I just get it in there. So just as a reminder, if you're using a small ball, so it's on one half of your midline, between the midline and the outer hips. I see that my internet connection is for some reason a little bit unstable, so I'm sorry if I'm freezing at all. But you're lying down on it, same thing. Breathing into it, trying to relax through your shoulders. Good. You can also do the half frog, bringing the knee forward. I'm going to go back to my bigger ball now. And when you're doing the half frog, you might lift and lower the foot. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. And then whenever you're ready to, of course, you can stay longer. Take it away. Feel your breath go in and out. Good. And then let's come into Sphinx pose from here. So rising up and coming onto your forearms. pressing down through the pubic bones. So we're going to practice finding the engagement of our glutes here, pressing the pubic bone down, staying spread across your shoulders in the front, and just feeling those glutes tighten up. Inhaling and exhaling. And again. Good. Now to come up, engaging your abdominals so they lift away from the floor a bit, and then bringing one knee forward and then the other knee forward to come up onto hands and knees. And then let's move through some cats and cows. You can exhale as you round and inhale as the tail goes up. Good. Good. Now, the next time you pass through your tabletop, let's work a little bit on our protract, retract. And the way to think of, now this is all about the shoulder blades moving. My arms stay straight, and I know you've done this so many times with me, but I'm gonna remind you again, your neck is relaxed. And when you do it, if I were doing this in this position, my shoulder blades squeeze together and then they spread apart. So it's all about the shoulder blades moving on the rib cage. And so what I want you to think of is that the shoulder blades are really fluid, that there's just easily able to move, that there's not anything that's holding them back. They just are gliding on your rib cage toward each other and then apart from one another. Not up towards your ears. Okay, so your neck relaxes. Relaxing your jaw. And we were talking about this shoulder health, and of course, shoulder stability is really important. And also, a lot of those videos we have on that say possibly chest opening, right? That can help too. If we're talking about one of the causes of some of the shoulder issues being the rounded shoulders forward. Okay, so after your next one, let's have a seat and you can grab any of your balls. You might want the harder one this time. We're just gonna rub it on our front area, our pecs. Okay, so I'm finding my collarbone here on one side. I'm gonna place the ball below it, and you can use either hand. I'm just gonna go along there, and mine's pretty tight. I work out these muscles a lot, but it can also just get tight from shoulders rounding, right? So you can see if the shoulders are rounded forward, then if we go to use our shoulders, it's not ideal alignment, and there's different rotator cuff tendons that can get pinched. Right? So we wanna release these muscles if we can. Also strengthen them, of course. Another way to do this is against a wall. So if you wanted more pressure, you could go along the wall with your ball, okay? And a tennis ball works for this. So you're going back and forth. You can also, especially if you're using the wall, but with your hand too, you can pin it in one spot and twist it around so it grabs the skin, and then you can move the neck around, right? So you can just kind of feel relaxing the arm. And you can go all the way to the sternum in the center and all the way out to the edge, right? Let's just do a little bit more, but you can always pause this if you're doing it on the recording and go longer, or you can do it longer if you're here live. And when you're ready, you'll just release it. And sitting here, legs can be any way you want them, noticing how the two sides feel. So tuning inward for a moment, letting your breath be fluid, following your breath in and following your breath out. noticing the two sides, and then you can go to the second side. Okay, so second side might be different. Often it's tighter on one side than the other. It's kind of hunting around. Remember, you can use the wall as well if you prefer. There's also a way you could use it on a block, face down on the floor. Just a little harder to maneuver, but you get a lot more pressure that way. Whew, I found a really good spot. So you can always find a good spot, twist the ball up, move the arm or move the neck around. Try to soften through your jaw. So muscles, they can be tight and strong, but they can also be tight and weak, right? Both of those things can be true. So a tight muscle doesn't necessarily mean a strong muscle, right? So just remembering that strengthening is important as well, and so is releasing. Good. Okay, let's let that one go and just rest again for a moment, noticing. Following your breath in and out. That fluid breath. Good. And then notice how you're sitting as far as your alignment goes. Right? Notice if you tend to sit rounded forward, and that could be out of habit or just it could be necessary because of some tight areas. Right? Just noticing, can you bring your shoulder blades to relax down your back? Can you spread across your collarbones in the front and bring the back of your head to line up with your upper back? And with my shoulders over my hips. And we're not trying to be perfect about it. Just kind of noticing, what are your habits, right? Following breath in and out. Good. Now we're going to take our hands behind our backs. Now, if you can't bear weight very much on your wrists or shoulders, you might need to do this seated in a chair, and it'll look a little different. And so what I'm going to do is I have my hands just pointed out to the side. I'm going to inhale to roll the shoulder heads back and open up across the chest. Okay. Now exhale, can you lift the hips off the floor, engage the glutes, and then come back down. Okay. And then we're just going to repeat. Okay. So we're taking the shoulders into extension, and we're also opening up the front of the hips. So we're opening up this front side because we've been talking about that as well, and trying to get the glutes engaged to help this lift happen, okay? Might not be able to go up as high as I'm showing, so just do what you can here and notice what it is for you. Couple more. Good, and then let's have a seat. Just stretch your legs out in front of you. You can roll your wrists around, noticing how they were feeling, and follow your breath in. And follow your breath out. Good. Now let's come around onto tabletop again. You could always be on forearms if your wrists are bothering you here, because what we're going to work on is just noticing what's going on in the hip area in the front here. We were talking about that. So let's start with our tail tilted up, okay, like cow pose. And your toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever you want. We'll switch them in a moment. You're just going to start to sit back like you're going to child's pose. And notice if there's pinching when you do it or if you're stopped by your hips, okay? Come back up. And Janet, do you feel pinching when you're going back doing this? Okay, all right. That's good information here, okay? So just kind of noticing, and other people might feel pinching, or you just might feel tightness. Now, if it bothers your knees, you could always put a blanket behind your knees. Start to notice also, everybody, when you go back, is there a point where you round? I mean, there will be some point where you start to round your spine. Can you instead just keep it as long as you can with the tail up? And try to notice when you round. A mirror can be helpful. If you're not quite sure, you can try doing this in front of a mirror. Now, if you've got your toes tucked under like me, you switch them to down and vice versa. Okay, same thing. And it'll be a little bit different. Let your neck relax. Good. Now let's come up and go through the bear get up to come up. So just pushing off your hands, trying to come all the way up onto your feet. And then once you get up there, let's inhale and reach the arms up. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. Okay, let's do 2 more. And just paying attention to how this feels through your shoulders. Now you might notice sometimes when you have a little funky thing going on in your shoulders, it's like it hurts when the palms are up and go out. But if you kind of round, you're just kind of noticing where the issue might be. It might feel good to go forward and up, but not out to the sides. Okay. So coming on down and then just shaking out a little bit. There's lots of banded, stretchy band exercises that are really good for shoulder stability as well. And we do have those in some of the videos. We're not going to do them today just because I didn't have you get those. But let's get our chair set up. I'm going to bring our chair for this first one just on our side. Okay. And you'll want some knee padding as well. The seat of the chair will be closest to me on my side. Okay. And then I'm going to put some knee padding down and I'm going to stand in front of it. Okay. And inhale to reach your arms up and exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale to extend your spine forward. You can exhale to bend your knees and take one knee back. Let's take the outer knee back. Okay, the one that's not next to the chair. All right, and I'm just resting it on the blanket. I'm going to show a version without the knee down on the floor if you can't bear weight in a moment. Okay, so now from here, you're going to try to tuck the tail forward so you feel your glute turn on. Okay, now with your right hand, depending on how you feel balanced here, your right hand could either hold the chair, or not your right hand, your inside hand, okay? Could either hold the chair or you could take the back of the hand inside the knee and press the knee into the hand and the hand into the knee, okay? So whatever works better, tucking the tail so you feel a stretch through here. So for me, I'm pretty flexible here, so I really have to tuck the tail far and engage the glute to feel it. You might not have to do as much, okay? And I'm gonna inhale and reach the outer arm up. And now I've got even a bigger stretch and I'm going as high as I can with my arm and keeping the counter pressure against my knee. And I'm going to exhale from the side, from the front, it looks like this. I'm going to exhale and just lean to the side toward the front knee while keeping the tail tucked and just noticing how that feels in the front of your hip. Take a couple more breaths here. Just reaching long, letting your neck be at ease. Good, and then slowly come up and bring the arm down. Now you can use your hand on the chair just to switch which leg is in front. Oh, I guess we have to spin around, don't we? To spin around, so now the chair, if you're using it, if you're not using it, you don't have to worry about it. So the chair is on the leg that's forward side, right? And then we're going to tuck the tail under until you've got that stretch. Glute is engaged, okay? Your inner hand can either hold the chair or back of hand against inner knee. Inhale to reach the outer arm up as high as you can, but keep the tuck of the tail. So you got this stretch going on. Reach it up, keep breathing. And then exhale, leaning toward the chair side. Good. Let your jaw relax, let your face relax, and keep breathing. Good, and then let's inhale to come back up and exhale to bring the arm down. Good. Can bring that knee back, placing the hands on the floor. Let's tuck the toes and walk your hands back for your bear get up, standing all the way up. When you get there, let's inhale and reach your arms up. And exhale, arms out and down. Good. Inhale, rolling the shoulders up, and exhaling, taking them down your back. Okay, now I'm going to get the blanket out of the way. And for this next one, you could either use your wall on your side or the back of your chair on your side for balance, okay? So we're going to now be still working with this hip flexor area, taking it through a range of motion, the full range of motion, trying to strengthen it as well as kind of open it up, all right? And this is a great warm-up to do for walking and hiking. So what I'll do is I'll have my chair on one side, and I'm gonna inhale, and I'm gonna bring my outer leg up as high as I can, okay? And I'm gonna exhale, step it back, not very far. My toes are tucked, the heel is up, okay? I'm gonna tuck the tail under, just like we did on the floor. Lift the outer arm up and lean toward the chair or the wall, okay? Then I'm gonna inhale, rise back up, and I'm gonna exhale, again, drive that knee forward, okay, and up. And then step it back, tuck the tail, lift the arm, feel that lengthening here and lean. Inhale, back up. Exhale, drive. Come back. Inhale, tuck and lean. Now you don't have to stick with that breath. Okay, just keep breathing and try to feel this full motion happening. Let's do 2 more. Now, if you were doing this on your own, you could do about 10 of these if it felt all right. Notice when I'm going back, if it doesn't bother the knee, I'm tucking the tail and bending the knee. That's in order to get more into this lengthening portion. Okay, now next time you come out of that stretching, just step forward and down and notice your 2 legs. Good. Following your breath in and following your breath out. Good. And then turning around or moving your chair, we'll do the second side. So inhale, standing tall, and exhale, we're gonna drive the outer knee up, step it back, tuck the tail, arm goes up, and lean. So it's like kind of like a crescent lunge adaptation. And inhale up, exhale, back, and lean. So doing about 3 more of these if it's feeling okay. And whenever you finish up there, rising up, standing and noticing. Good. Let's just do some swing and twist. Yeah, how did that one feel on the hip? Okay? Okay. Good. The other one that we do a lot, and I've got a lot of videos with it in it, we're not going to do it right now. I don't think we've got the time, but maybe is... We're not gonna, you don't need to copy me, but you know the one where we have the foot on the chair and we lift it up? That's a great hip flexor strengthener, right? Well, maybe we'll do it after this next piece, okay? All right, here we are. Let's stand in front of the seat of our chair. We're gonna inhale to reach the arms up. And exhale, fold. And inhale to extend the spine forward. Now, we're going to bend the knees here so that your weight is in your heels. So just find that, okay? And my spine is in neutral, or I'm trying to get it in neutral. So I'm not here, right? So you want to make sure you bend the knees enough so that you can get your shoulder blades down your back, right? So instead of here, right, I'm able to be here. Right? Okay, then relax your neck. And we're just going to do some donkey kicks. So just taking one leg and exhale, go up and back. It's like you're swiping that foot on the ground or something, but you're not touching the ground. Trying to get that glute engaged. For 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then bring it down. Just pause for a moment between sides, or you can stand up if you prefer. Okay, and take a break. Yeah, if you're getting a lot of pressure on your wrists, try to take your weight back into the heels more so you could basically let go of your chair. You're really only using it for balance, right? So let's inhale, find this position again. Another good time for a mirror is to be able to see here, what are you doing with your shoulders? What's going on with your spine? You can always bend knees more to help your spine get some length. And then shifting the weight to the other leg. And when you're ready, you can exhale, kick it back like you're trying to stamp your foot on the ceiling. And yeah, you're going kind of fast. Doesn't have to be super fast, but you're just trying to get your heart rate going while you also feel those muscles turn on. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, and then coming down. This time, let's step back to our chair down dog. So just walking back, your hands can be on the chair, head coming down between the arms, following your breath in and out. Now let's check in with the shoulders here. So pressing the palms of your hands down into your chair, feeling the stability of your shoulders, just noticing, does that feel okay in your own shoulders? Does that feel good? When you're pressing down, can you feel the strength there? And then can you also let your neck relax? Good, and then slowly walking back to your chair. Inhale, extend the spine forward. Exhale, bend the knees. And inhale, rise. Exhale, arms out and down. Good. Notice how you're feeling right now. Let's take a little break for a balance pose, a little break from the hip area and the shoulders for a balance pose. So, tree pose. You can use the wall behind you if you want, or you can hold on to something. And inhale, stand tall. And exhale, let's see about bending one knee forward and then turning it out if that feels okay. Now, your foot can be on the ankle with the toes on the floor, or it can be anywhere on the leg. Okay? Arms can be any position as well. Trying to engage the standing leg glute and lifting up through your center. And then when you're ready, slowly coming down. And stepping side to side, we'll go into the second side when you're ready. Okay, so inhale, standing tall. Exhale, other leg comes forward and maybe turns out. You can also always opt for going a little further and taking the foot to the inner thigh if that's something you're interested in. And allow your eyes to soften as you're here. Your shoulders to relax if you can. Even if you're wobbling a lot, that's okay. That's part of how your body learns to balance more, your brain learns to balance more. Good. And when you're ready, you can come on down. Just stepping side to side. I'm thinking of some other videos we have on there that are labeled in our library about strength in the hips for walking and hiking. I think that's the title of it. And that's really good for the hip stability as well. Okay, we're going to come back to face the seat of the chair. And inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to fold. We're going to find that same alignment we used on the last one, where we bend the knees, really barely any weight on the hands. Weight is in the heels, and I'm finding the length through my spine. So bending enough so that you can have your shoulder blades come away from your ears, down your back, neck at ease. And this time, we're going to inhale. Let's lift one foot off the floor, but with a bent knee like you're kicking your butt here. The other knee is still bent in that same position. And I'm going to make big circles with that knee. And as I do this, my spine goes through rounding. I let it move however I want. And my standing leg also kind of bends and straightens. That standing leg hip moves. You're noticing how big of a circle can you draw here? How far up toward the ceiling, out to the side and in and around. And I really feel this in my standing leg hip. And now I'm going to reverse directions. Pay attention to what your neck is doing. Good. And then let's bring that foot down and stretch back to our downward facing dog. Now with your shoulders in this downward dog, let's work on getting the shoulders high up toward the ears. So like you get as much length, and see how that feels. That would be shoulder elevation, shoulder blade elevation. And then let's work on drawing them down and see what that feels like. So just up and down. Good, and then just see what feels better to you right now and hang out there for a breath or two. Let your neck relax. And let's slowly walk back to our starting position, and we're gonna do the second side with our hip circles. So bend the knees, right? Weight in heels, spine extended forward. Then lift the other foot up with the bent knee and start to make your big circles. And you can let everything move. Going round and round. Keep breathing. And then reverse directions. Good. And then coming down. I'm going to inhale, reach your spine forward. Exhale, bend the knees. And then inhale, stand up, reaching arms up. Good. And exhale, arms out and down. Good. Just letting the arms hang and noticing. And we're going to take your right arm out to the side a little bit. And we're going to inhale and internally rotate that arm. So now we're just paying attention to how the shoulder feels here, because we were talking about different positions of the shoulder, and then externally rotate. And I'm letting the whole arm follow, right? We were also talking about the connection between neck and shoulder, right? And chest. So as you do this, another thing you can do is play around with the position of your neck, right? You could lean it to one side. Just go gently. I also get into my wrist here, right? Just like we do with our nerve glides. So I go through flexion of the wrists when I internally rotate, and then when I externally rotate, I'm extending. But you can allow your body to move and just notice what feels good. How do you want the neck to move? And you can also linger. So if you feel something that's interesting, you might pause there and breathe. Can do one side as long as you want, and then move into your second side as you're ready. Okay, so same thing, you can just start by trying to get the motion of internally rotating. And then when we're talking about the internal and external rotation here, we're talking about the shoulder joint with the arm bone. It's really originating there. The shoulder blade is moving as well. In fact, that's the joint. The arm bone connects to the shoulder blade there. And then you can add in any movements of the neck and the wrist. And really explore. And you might just get curious. So if you notice, if you've been having shoulder issues, you might notice like, oh, okay, I can feel that there. This gives you a little more information. Of course, you can linger places too, using your breath. Good. And then letting that go, just kind of shake it out a little bit. We're going to come down onto the floor, and you can come down using your chair. We're going to use the seat of our chair here when we're on our back. Okay, so you can come down and use the chair, come down how you'd like. You can have your head and neck support nearby. I'm going to take your legs up onto the chair. And let's just do a couple of bridge poses here, just to get a feel for it, because I would love for you guys to do this on your own too. So first, no head and neck support. And ideally, it's like it's your heels that are on the chair, and my legs are at 90-degree angles at the hips and the knees. And my arms relax at my sides. I know I didn't say you necessarily needed a chair, so you can always go get one and join us when you're ready. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press my heels downward into the chair. And when I do that, I feel my hamstrings turn on, the backs of the thighs here. And then I'm gonna keep going, pressing down as I lift my hips up into bridge pose. And then as I come down, I'm resisting it. So I'm keeping the backs of the legs engaged. You could also do this on the floor. So if it's too much to get a chair, you could do glute bridges instead. With the chair, it's more of a hamstring focus, the way I've got you doing it. But with the floor, you can get it to be more of a glute focus too. Okay? We're just lifting and lowering. Good. So choose what will work for you best right now. And if you're doing the chair version, go very slowly. Put a little pressure into the back of your head in both versions. And then let's lower down. And again, if you don't have the chair, you'll be able to do this next part on the floor as well. I'm just going to do a figure 4. So we're going to inhale, reach your right leg up. If your hamstring feels really tight right now, you could stretch it out a little bit, or you could just cross the ankle over the other thigh and press the right knee out to the side. Or you could thread the needle, right? Holding behind the left knee by sticking the right hand in the little hole and clasping. And do a little rocking side to side. Following your breath in with your attention and following it out. Good. And then coming back to the center, uncrossing, you can take that leg up and shake it out. And then cross the other way. So on the floor, I think most of you know it, but it's the same thing, right? On the floor, you do the same thing. Cross the ankle, press the knee out. You can stay here, or you can thread the needle. So that one's bothering you, huh, Janet? Or maybe not, no. Oh, I can't see. Yeah, okay, it's okay. It's so. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so just take it easy with it. Good, and when you're ready, just uncrossing. You can extend it up, and then doing any last poses you might want to do. So whether you want to bring your knees into your chest or windshield wiper, or could be something totally different, just checking it out. And you can get your head and neck support if you haven't already. Your legs could either go over the chair or they could extend on the floor, or choose any position that works for you. Just notice how your body feels right now. It might take a sigh or two. Ah. And feel for taking your awareness and your attention into your body. So coming out of your mind a little bit and really inhabiting your body, feeling it here. Feeling as though you could let go and sink into the floor. Like you're observing your body. You can stay here for as long as you'd like, as long as you have time for.